The Crochet Crew!
Today on The Emily Show, we'll be featuring a panel consisting of Keener Andrew, Coach Ronco, Keener John, and soccer player Monica. Hi, and welcome to The Emily Show. On this segment, we'll be examining non-contact ACL injuries in female soccer players. If you look at the literature, you'll notice that there's a 3 to 8 times higher incidence in females compared to males. Okay, so given this trend, we thought we'd take a little bit of time today to discuss this. The common mechanism for ACL injuries is...
I know. I get to explain this one. Could I get a helper, please, with a knee? A girl. Ooh, it's a girl. Okay, so generally ACL injuries happen under two conditions. Okay, so the first condition is single-legged planting or landing. The other one is really quick cutting and change of direction, like you see in soccer or in handball, European handball. So generally, what contributes to this ACL injury is a excessive valgus moment, combined with a differential rotation of the femur and also the tibia. Okay, and what actually contributes to this is a lot of females tend to be a little bit more quad dominant, and because they're more quad dominant, when they slow down when they're landing, what happens is that contributes to an anterior translation of the tibia, and in addition to that sudden cutting motion, they get the interior rotation of the femur, and if this tibia were to stay in place, it acts like an external rotator, and that puts a lot of strain on the ACL tendon or ACL ligament, sorry, and it gets caught on the lateral epicondyle, and that's where you get the ACL injury from.
Great, that's a very concise summary, thanks. So now that we're aware of the mechanism of ACL injury, for those of you at home, what do you think the most effective strategy to prevent ACL injuries is?
Eating chicken!
Safe place, good contribution, but there's actually no evidence supporting that, so any other ideas?
Well, there's a strong association between neuromuscular training and decreases in ACL injuries, including lots of studies done by Hewitt, Silvers.
Okay, thanks. You've done your homework. Very interesting. So from this segment, we'd actually like you at home to get the following objectives. To be able to describe the movement patterns specific to ACL injuries that neuromuscular training aims to prevent. We'd like you to list one neuromuscular exercise aimed at preventing ACL injuries and identify the optimal time within a periodized training program to implement a neuromuscular training program. So to start things off, what exactly is neuromuscular training?
Well, simplistically, it pertains to retraining the brain-muscle connection by altering muscle firing patterns. Neuromuscular training can be implemented through plyometrics, strengthening, balance, and proprioceptive training.
Now maybe my colleague can explain exactly what is meant by this.
So if you could please have a knee again. So if you all remember from earlier, I explained what the major concepts of what the ACL injury is, and the major contributing factor is via the valgus strain, okay, and the differential rotation of the tibia and the femur. And we derive this information from studies done by Hewitt and also by Olson. So those are great studies for you guys to check out. So remember the three main aspects that we talked about in the ACL injury, whereas the first one being the quad dominance in a lot of females. So by strengthening that neuromuscular or that firing of that posterior aspect or the posterior chain, which is the hamstring in this case, what this does is, because the hamstring attaches at the posterior aspect of the tibia, this prevents
Anterior
that
tibial translation
that we were trying to avoid. The next thing that happens that also contributes to that valgus strain, which also contributes to the ACL injury, is the internal rotation of the femur. So another aspect that the neuromuscular training focuses on is on strengthening that relationship of the firing of the glute medius. If you remember from your anatomy classes, it's glute medius, when it fires, it externally rotates that femur. So by firing the glute medius a little bit faster, we externally rotate, fire the hamstrings a little bit faster, we suck that tibia back, and all in all, we prevent that dangerous valgus position. By preventing that dangerous valgus position, we change the ground reaction forces through the leg, and the athlete is not as prone to ACL injury. This will prevent them from injuring themselves.
Oh wow, thanks so much for that. Thanks, that seems like a lot of information to incorporate into an exercise. Can you give me a specific example of an exercise you would use?
Absolutely. As my colleague previously mentioned, what we want to do is we want to engage our quad, our hamstring, and our gluteus medius, stabilize the knee as the athlete pivots and shifts. Okay. So one exercise that I suggest for this is the single leg step and hold, which primarily is this motion as follows. Okay. Step. What we want to make sure is we want to make sure that the knee doesn't go past the toes. We want to bend. We want to flex our hips. And we want to come down and then jump back.
That looks really similar to what was done in this paper done by Myers.
Yes, calm down. Okay. So now we're gonna get Monica here to demonstrate that. Step and back. Excellent. And then the other leg.
Great, that looks like lots of fun. How about everyone in the audience? Let's get up, get the blood moving
Get up.
and try
One
it out.
single leg. Step and hold.
Okay.
Ready? And go. So I have a question for our colleagues here. When is the best time to implement such a preventative program? Is it preseason, during the competition, or postseason when they're trying to recover? When is the best time?
Well, generally, we find that if you're initially implementing preventative strategies such as this, the best time for it in a periodized program would be in the conditioning period and also in the pre-competition period. During the competition period, I would have it so that you would have a maintenance block, okay? And this is actually validated by research done by Gilchrist et al., where they actually started this preventative strategy at the beginning of the competition season, and they did not see results until halfway through the season. So with that evidence in mind, we recommend that you actually implement it earlier, and that's generally through the conditioning phase.
Makes sense. Perfect.
Great. So from this evidence, would you implement an ACL neuromuscular prevention program in your female athletes? Hopefully you said yes, because it was on the midterm, and also because of this excellent segment we've had here today. So from that, can you actually give me 2 reasons why you should implement an ACL neuromuscular training program in your female soccer players? Just to reiterate the information in this session, we went over the higher incidence of non-contact ACL injuries in female athletes. We explained the mechanism by which ACL injuries occur. We discovered how neuromuscular training prevents ACL injuries. We provided an example of a neuromuscular exercise, and we also rationalized the optimal time to implement neuromuscular training in a periodized program. Thanks for joining.